Hello, all you beautiful people, and welcome to another video. Today, obviously, we have a different setup around us, and that is because today's video is going to be going through my physical bookshelf up here in college, which is very exciting. So yeah, obviously, also, I feel like I should mention that this is my bookcase up at school, like up at college, so I have like miscellaneous games and things up here that I'm not really going to be talking about. This is kind of like I have like my speaker and like my camera and like my glasses and like games and stuff like that. And then same kind of with the bottom shelf. You can't really see it, but this is my sewing kit, and then I have like contacts and stuff down here and some more books that I will include. Actually, let's just start with those. Fun fact, these are actually the books that usually hold up my camera when I film in my other spot, so say thank you to these books. Yeah, so I think I'm just going to kind of go through and talk about them. Obviously, that makes sense. That's what this video would be about. So yeah, so for down here we have Freddie and Zoe by Jd Salinger. I love Jd Salinger. I read him obviously in high school, obviously. But I really want to read Freddie and Zoe, but I feel like a lot of times too, I don't read physical books that much because I try to save them for like vacations or like, I don't know, places where it's like you can't be on your phone, or like I don't want to be on my phone as much, like I want a physical book, so I try to kind of save those for like more of those things. I also have Emma by Jane Austen, so those are two that are down there, and then this is the big stack that, like I said, usually helps prop up my camera. I just got these two really recently with my mother. We went to the bookstore together and got these, so we went to Half Price. So this is, I have no idea how to say this, but it's by Oscar Wilde. It's like a love letter that he wrote to his lover that then turned into a book. I don't really know much about it. I wanted to get the picture of Dorian Gray, and they only had like really ugly covers, and I know it usually doesn't matter, but with classics you can kind of be like a bit choosier because there's a million plus copies of classics. And this was really pretty, and I've only read a few Oscar Wilde, so I thought I would get this. And then along with that, my mother is very into poetry, so she's kind of passed that down to me. And obviously I love love. And obviously I love love. So I got this love poems, which it's just like a combination of a bunch. But anyways, yeah, I thought these both covers looked really pretty though. I brought up my copy of A Summer Turned Pretty, the summer, a summer, because I think I'm gonna reread this entire series before the show comes out, and I think I'm gonna do like a little reading vlog with it, so you'll probably see that video. But I wanted to bring it up. This is the only one I have in physical copy. The other two I own on Kindle, so I'll be reading those there, but I have this one physical copy. This I got at the half price, not half price, half price on hardcovers after Christmas sale that Barnes & Noble has. I did not describe that correctly. Barnes & Noble on the 26th and 27th of December has a half off all hardback covers. So my sister and I went, and I picked up this one, which is my first ever Penguin Classic like pretty cover. It has like some scratches on the back, but it's really not that bad. And also this was, I think it ended up being like $6 or something, so I was not mad. But it's the Tales from 101 Nights, which I've read some of these tales, not all of them. It has like Aladdin in it and some of the other ones, so very excited to read this. And it's also so pretty, like this blue, I can't get over it, so pretty. Then I have Await Your Reply by Dan Joan. Yeah. This was one from my dad's library. He kind of gave me a couple of books that he thought that I would like. So this was one of them, and I have yet to read it, but I will. And it's kind of fun. You always know it's like my dad. He always has like notes and things in here, like different, I don't know, things he leaves in there. So it's kind of cool. But don't know much about that one. And then this is another one that this is from my father's library as well. A Ship Made of Paper by Scott Spencer. Also will be reading this soon-ish. I just like always forget to grab these books because like I said, I don't really read physical books that much. So it's like not even anything against these books. It's just like if I'm not thinking about them, I'm not gonna reach for it. This is like, I would call this a poetry book. I don't know if it is actually poetry, but it's called I Wrote This For You, and I don't think it has an author. Yeah, I don't know. Please find this. I don't know. It's by Central Avenue Publishing. I don't know, but I got this at Half Price Books, and I went on like kind of a hard day, and I was looking for a different poetry book, but I saw this and I read a couple of passages. I haven't read the whole thing, but I've read a couple of passages, and I was like, that was really beautiful, and it was very cheap, and it also has like pictures with all of this stuff, which I thought was cool. So I picked this up. Haven't gotten back to it, but I will, because that was very cool. Ooh. And then the bottom of this stack, not last but not least, is The Actor's Life, A Survival Guide by Jenna Fisher, who played Pam on The Office. My dad gave me this for Christmas one year because I want to be an actor. So this is like her like survival guide for actors of like things you should know that like she wished she knew, of like whether to get an agent, what to do when you're out there, like things like that. And actually Steve Carell does the foreword. So very fun. This is a cool book. So let me just put all these books back now. Okay, now we have the main level, which is the majority of my books. I have some more on my desk. Should I do that first? I guess I'll do my ones on my desk first. So hold on. Ugh, see, clearly very prepared for this video. These are all the ones that are on my desk, and then these are the, this is in my backpack. But anyways, this has the cover. Anyways, this is in my backpack. It has been for a while. I try to read at least like I try to have like one dedicated classic in my backpack at all times during the school year, just for like moments between classes, or like when I have to take the L downtown or something for class, that I'll have a book on me. But then I don't usually end up reaching for it that frequently because I have another book going at the same time. So these usually take me like a whole semester to read one of these, like whatever classic I put in my backpack. This has taken a bit longer. I finished the other one that was in my backpack earlier last semester, so this is, I put this in right before Halloween because it is Dracula by Bram Stoker. Yeah. I'm literally not even that far. I think I'm like 100 pages in or something. Not even, I'm 70 pages in. I originally started this because I've been wanting to read Dracula for forever, and then also because in Tell Me Three Things, Ethan reads Dracula, and I've wanted to read it ever since, which is kind of lame of me, but also very cool of me. And I also was in a horror film class, and we watched like a bunch of Dracula adaptations and things, and like most of them are based off of Dracula, so that was very cool too. But I kind of got Dracula out because I was like watching all of these Dracula movies and then like reading it, and then it was too much. So that's why I need to finish that still. Hopefully that will be on one of my reading wrap-ups soon. Shot my collar being messed up that whole time. These are all of the ones on my desk for various reasons. This one, Audition by Michael Shirtliff. This is I've had this since freshman year for acting. It's literally like all of the guideposts and stuff are important. I don't know. Anyways, it's a book for school, basically. This is also Michael Caine, Acting in Film. I've not read this yet. This was for this year because I'm in an acting in film class, but I will read this eventually. But those are two like school books, like that's why they're up there. I also have this, which I just finished reading, which is Patti Smith's Just Kids. This is up there because it's a birthday present for my friend, and I need to put the dedication I'm gonna put in for her in it. So that's why it was on my desk, because I need to do that. And then last but not least on my desk, I have Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. This is the book. My sister and I usually try to like swap books at least like once a year. So this is the book my sister gave me. I gave her Collided. Yes, Collided from the Dirty Air series, the fourth book, by Lauren Asher. Goodness, that took me so long. So I gave her that book that I have in physical form, and then she gave me this book. So I have not started reading it yet because I've just not gotten around to it. And I also think I might do a video based off of like the things, like books other people recommend me. So I might be doing that. So that's why. Okay. Last but certainly not least is the main attraction, the main shelf of my bookshelf. Yeah, so I think we should just go at it. We'll go from here. Also, oh, I forgot about these. Oh, I have little like, I have like screenshots from my favorite TV shows and movies that are hanging in my closet, and these were the ones that were extra that like didn't fit for some reason, or they kind of got cut off weird. So I have the ones that didn't make it. I have Euphoria season 1, watching season 2 right now. BoJack Horseman. This is 1917. This is Amelie, Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl. So yeah, I use them as bookmarks sometimes. That's why they're there. Anyways, have The Hating Game, classic. Love this book, amazing. Have After You by Jojo Moyes. I don't really know how to say that. I did read Before You ages ago, and crushed me. So sad. Still have never seen the movie, but was very sad about it. And my father got me this book because he knew I liked the other book, and I've just never gone back to it because I feel like I need to read Before You since it's been such a long time. But then I know it was so sad, so I don't really want to, but I should because I genuinely did like it. So I do think that's something I should do. I just haven't gotten around to it. So there's 2 up there. And then we have these. Also, these aren't really organized in any sort of way. These are kind of just like, these are kind of the books that I brought, like just books that fit here, like when I first moved here, and then now it's been like a year and a half later, and I've just like added a bunch of books, so that's why it's kind of like chaotic, and there's not really like a lot of sense to it. Anyways, I got Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. Really want to read this book. I have not yet. I haven't really read any classical like romances, really, like full-on romances. I don't know why, but I haven't. Also, this always reminds me of After, which I did read After. I didn't like After, but whenever they talked about Wuthering Heights, I was like, oh, that's kind of cute. So I will be reading that. High Fidelity by Nick Hornby. I'm pretty sure this is also from my father's library. Yes, it is. Really want to read this, like the movie and the TV show and everything based off of this. Very exciting. I just also have not gotten around to it. And then this one's kind of interesting to me. My Barnes & Noble by me was closing, so they were having like a final sale. So my sister and I went, and like literally the sales were like ridiculous. Like everything was very, very cheap. And we went kind of late, so there wasn't anything that I distinctly wanted that I was like searching for. It's just kind of like what was left. And I picked up this book, which is called Joe and Laurie by Margaret Stoll and Melissa De La Cruz, which I think looks really pretty too. But it is kind of, it's like Laurie and Joe from Little Women, and it's like, I think it's like if it was different, like if they did end up together. I don't know if it's after the events of Little Women or like during it. I don't know, like how cute the back is too. But it's a romantic retelling. I guess I should just looked at that. But I have not fully read the adult version of Little Women. I read like the child's version of Little Women when I was little. But I've never read the like full adult one. So I want to read that first before I read this one. And because of that, I just haven't picked this one up because I haven't finished the adult Little Women first. But I always loved Laurie. Laurie was always my favorite character. Always. I was in love with him as a child. So I'm very excited to get to read their story, which I don't think they actually should have ended up together, but it's fine. We can still have fun. Anyways, so those are those books. I guess I'll start from this side and just work my way. Oh, there's a hair. That's fun. Work my way over. First, I have Middlesex by Jeffrey Eugene. I literally don't know how to say people's names, and I apologize because I did no research before I started this video. I read this in high school. Actually, I read this my junior year. Loved it. I absolutely loved this book. I think it's really cool. It deals with like this, deals with the story of a person who was born with both male and female genitalia, and then kind of their journey through life and trying to understand their gender identity along with their sexual identity, along with like why these things happen. And it's also, I've read this a while ago, but I do believe it also like goes back and forth between time, between like different narrators, so like of their family. So I think that's very cool. I had never really read a book like it. Again, I read this junior year, so I don't know if it really still holds up as well as I think it does, but I very much enjoyed it when I first read it. So that's the first one on here. The second is Nicholas Sparks' The Guardian. This is the only Nicholas Sparks book I own. My sister gave me this for Christmas, I want to say, one year. I don't really know. I started reading it on vacation, literally not even far, literally on chapter 2. So I, like 15 pages in. I did not love it, but it was only 15 pages in, so that's not really fair. I'm not the biggest Nicholas Sparks fan for a lot of reasons because he's an awful person, but this is a sunk cost, and I should probably read it. I do enjoy some of his movies, obviously. The best is obviously A Walk to Remember. That's my favorite, A Walk to Remember. I also really like The Longest Ride. I don't know why I got like really hyper fixated on that in high school. Like my friends and I really got into The Longest Ride, so that one holds a very special place in my heart. A Walk to Remember is also special. I just hate The Notebook. That's like the only one I genuinely don't like. The Vow is really good, but it's also super sad. Dear John, I don't like as much. Anyways, no one asked for that. Anyways, after that I have Boy Erased by literally don't Gerald Conley. I picked this one up because I watched the movie. Also, if you don't know, I love Lucas Hedges desperately, and that's him. But he was in this movie, and that's why I watched the movie, and I loved the movie. And it's basically about, and this is a memoir, and it's about this boy's story of his parents sent him to conversion camp, and it's kind of his journey of like his finding his sexuality while also keeping his faith, while also like loving his family, and kind of all the conflicting feelings of that, because it's like his parents sent him here because they want to help him and they think that's how they can help him, but then it's like he doesn't want to change, and people are like, you should hate your parents, but then he's like, I don't hate my parents. I don't know. I really liked the movie. I definitely should read this. I just have not gotten around to it. This is another one I just have not picked up, but I'm sure that I will love once I actually get around to it. Next we have Punk 57. I do own the physical copy. Yeah, I still need to mark this one up, but I haven't done that yet. But the one that I do have bookmarked, that I never really dog ear that much, but I did dog ear this when I was originally reading this because I was like, this is very cute. But it's Anything to Not Need You, Anything to Not Fall for You, Anything to Look at a Girl Who's Not You, but Baby, There's Nothing But You. And I remember reading that and thinking that that was really, really cute. So I marked that, but I will mark up this book, but that is another one. Next is Tell Me Three Things by Julie Baumbaum. I don't really know how to say her name. Literally don't know how to say any of these names. I'm so sorry. This is one of my all-time favorite books ever in the world. The first time I read this, I think I read it like 4 or 5 times that year, just because I was so obsessed with it. Bought this book very quickly. I read it on Kindle first, but then I was like, I need to own the physical copy of this. I recently reread it. I think I reread it this year, not that long ago, but it still holds up to me. It's definitely like a high school romance book. I just have so much love for this book, and I have so many memories with this book that it's just very like ingrained in me. And I think everyone should read it, but again, it's like a high school romance book. It's definitely not like, it's kind of funny that it's next to Punk 57 because it's very unlike Punk 57. But again, I love this book. I love the story. I don't know. I just love it. I love it so much. And it's very quick read. It's very easy read. Also, I keep getting on TikTok. I've recently gotten like a bunch of stuff for Tell Me Three Things, which I've never seen anyone talk about this book. So it was amazing and I love it. So please go read Tell Me Three Things. Next to it, we have Culty by Mariana Zapata. I also have not marked up this book yet, but I've owned this book since like December, so like a month total or something. And I have multiple times picked up this book and just gone to the passages that, like search for passages that I'm just thinking about and just read them and just gotten instantly happy. I love this book. I know other people don't like it as much, and it's not their favorite Mariana Zapata book, and I understand and I get it. It just so is for me. It just so is, and it's just so good, and I love it so much. So yeah, that's there. Next I have The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. Got this for Christmas this year. Very exciting, very cool. Yeah, classic good book to have on your shelf. Next I have The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I read this over summer break. Obviously huge in book talk community and booktube. Everyone loves it. I also loved it. I don't think I loved it as much as other people loved it, but that's okay. But I still enjoyed it, and I still like having it on my bookshelf. Then I have Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Oh my god, why can I not remember? Kind of cool. This actually, my mom gave me this. This was my mom's when she was little. She got it in Christmas 1974. So it's very cool. It's a very pretty book, and it smells amazing. Yes, so always have been a fan of Alice in Wonderland, so my mom gave me her copy, which is very cool and sweet. Then I have Spoiler Alert by Olivia Dade. My father gave me this for Christmas last year. Was not my favorite. It was fine. I feel like that's kind of the sentiment for it. It was fine. And we have One Day by Nichols, which this is also a movie starring Anne Hathaway and Jim Sturgis. Anyways, oh my god, look at that on the back. Kind of iconic. Anyways, loved this movie, watched it freshman year of college, cried, loved it. And when I went to the bookstore later that year with one of my friends from high school, she was like, I had talked about it with her, and she was like, oh, you should buy a book. So I did buy it. And yeah, I like the movie a lot better, but I still think that this is a really good book. So recommend. And then we're moving into the books that I guess it's untrue. This is The Namesake. I'm so sorry, I don't know how to say her name at all. Oh, that's lovely. There's stains on it. This is one of the books that I think one of my siblings had to read for school or something, and I picked it up when they were giving it away, and I was like, oh no, I'll read it. So this is one of those. I have no idea what it's about, but sure, it's good. This is another one of those. This is Thomas Mann's Death in Venice. I've never read any of this. I should. But I definitely picked this up just because one of my siblings was getting rid of it, and I was like, oh, don't get rid of it. I'll take it and read it at some point. So I have yet to read it, but I have taken it. So there's that. Down and Out in Paris and London by George Orwell. I really liked this book. I have a very happy, sappy memory attached to this book. This boy that I really liked came up to me while I was reading this book and like talked to me about it. So very happy memories with this book. But yeah, I think I read this freshman year of college. I was very into George Orwell, loved 1984. Was not the biggest fan of Animal Farm, but you know, things happen. But this is very cool. This is kind of this is like the stories of like when he was in Paris and London, and like it's like a lot to do with like poverty, and like it's kind of a thicker read, but or like denser, it's not thick, but I still recommend. This is very good, and again, I have a lot of sappy, happy memories with it. Winter's Bone by Daniel Woodrow. This is obviously a book, no? Well, that is true, it is obviously a book, but this is a movie with Jennifer Lawrence, and I've never seen it, but my dad said I would really like it, so this is also from my dad's library, and he gave me the book because he was like, I think you would like the movie, but I think you should read the book first, and I've done neither. It's been years, so I should do that. Next, I have Calling by Your Name by Andre Asimon. I know, very problematic, very awful. Not to be one of those people, but I was very up on Calling by Your Name, at least the movie. I saw the movie in theaters and was in love and read the book before I saw the movie. And this holds a very special place in my heart. I know how problematic it is, and I recognize that now. I read this when I was a senior in high school, and it just holds like a lot of really great memories for me, and I love Timothée Chalamet. And I love this movie too. Again, I know it's problematic, but sue me. Next, I have Egghead, or You Can't Survive on Ideas Alone by Bo Burnham, drawings by Chance Bone. This was a gift that I was given for my friend Ruby, but it's Bo Burnham, obviously, like the comedian. He has like a bunch of like poems and things, and like there's cartoons that go with them. He performed some of them on In What? Or Make Happy? I think it's In What. But yeah, I really liked Bo Burnham, and so did my friend Ruby, so she got me this book as a present. We are nearing the end. So sad. I love talking about my books though. And then classic, I have Diary of an Oxygen Thief by Anonymous. Yeah, I feel like I have no good excuse for owning this book. I think I actually asked for this for Christmas or something one year. Cute. My mother gave me this Chicago book tourism book when I decided I wanted to go to school in Chicago, because I'm not from Chicago, I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. So she gave me this like travel booklet of all of the like spots to see and like great restaurants to go to, and like it has like different sections and like what are things to do, and like guided walks you can do and stuff. It's very cool. I've leafed through this from time to time. I should probably look at it more before I leave, because I'll be leaving soon, which is sad. But that's very cool. This is another one that my dad gave me from his thing. It's called Bookshelf. White Palace by Glenn Savon. Look at that scandalous cover, father. Also, I have this little like infuser, I think it's what they're called. I don't know what the smell is anymore, but also don't mind the dust. Kind of embarrassing. Okay, well, that happened. Another one of my favorite books of all time, A Separate Piece by John Knowles. I have read this book so many times. This is one I actually have marked up. I marked this up. I read this sophomore year first. The first time I read this was sophomore year in high school, and I loved it. And I marked it up for school because it was for school. But I literally find it so funny every time I reread it, because I reread this one and like my notes are so stupid. It's like, Finney just wanted to see if you could do it. Calm. Like, what? Shirt equals small victory. What? Like, I don't know. There's such stupid little things that I was like, I'm so smart. But I love this book. This is, like I said, one of my all-time favorite books. It probably will always be one of my all-time favorite books. I have 9 Stories by Jd Salinger, another one of the ones that I absolutely adore. Also read this sophomore year. Sophomore year was a great year in English for me. I loved like all the books we read. More markings that I've had in here. Just talking about their own problems. Literally put the wrong there. That's so embarrassing. I think if I remember correctly, I really liked Pretty Mouth and Green My Eyes, Perfect Day for Banana Fish, and maybe Uncle Wiggily in Connecticut. I don't really remember. There was definitely like 3 that were like my favorite. I do remember really liking Pretty Mouth and Green My Eyes, but anyways, love this book. Made me love Jd Salinger so much. One of my all-time favorites again. Then I have Kate Choppin's The Awakening. I read this junior year of high school. Also really liked this one. It's kind of funny because all of my like classic books that I'm like, oh, I should keep these on my bookshelf because they like look smart and cool, or like ones I've read in like high school that I was like forced to read. I don't really remember too terribly much about this book, if I'm being honest. I think it's about like, I know it has symbolism for like finding her like sexual awakening. I think, and it has to do with like female sexuality and things like that. It's kind of all I remember about it. I did want to reread this book. This was one of the ones that I was like, I should reread this. Also, it's so funny because like this isn't even long. How many pages is this? This is literally 190 pages, not even 200 pages. I remember like having to read this and I was like, you're kidding. Not like you're kidding, like it's so long, but I was just like, ah, poor me. Like I have to read this. Like this is so dramatic. It is not a book. This is a notebook that I have stickers in. That's why this fell out. I forgot I had those in there. My friend gave it to me. This is actually just like a plain notebook and she added that sticker. on it, which is a Vincent van Gogh painting, but I haven't used it yet, but I will use it. So it's been sitting on my shelf until I run out of notebooks. It's kind of funny, I didn't realize that it's been on my bookshelf for forever, so you can see where it's been sitting because it's less sun damaged, which is funny. This is All My Sons by Arthur Miller. I was a big Arthur Miller fan. Oh, that's so weird, it's so much greener. I was a big Arthur Miller fan my freshman year of college. I still am, but I did a project on All My Sons, which, fun fact, this is actually how 21 Pilots got their band name, which I'm not even that big 21 Pilots fan, I never even was, but it has to do with the play. It takes place, one of the monologues in here. You have The Shipment by The Shipment Lear by Eugene Lee. I read this in my first class, theater class, in college, and I don't want to give anything away about this play, but it is very, very good, and if you've never read it, I would highly recommend reading this. It was just very good. I don't know what to say. Then we have Much Ado About Nothing by William Shakespeare. I did a scene in this for acting 2 that I took. It's part of my lines. I played Beatrice, fun fact. But yes, Much Ado About Nothing, one of my favorite Shakespeare plays, honestly. I think my favorite is Romeo and Juliet, which I know is kind of basic, but it is my favorite. And I would say Much Ado is probably my second. And last but not least, actual book on here is Paul Zendel's The Effect of Gamma Rays on Man in the Moon Marigolds. This is not the play version, this is like the book version, or like this is not the actor's version, I guess I should say, but I did a scene from this for my acting 1. This is one of my like all-time favorite plays. I have another copy of this at home that's like the actor's version, which I think I have my highlighted lines in, but anyways, yes, very good play, very much liked it. And then last but not least, this is my journal. Where there's great love, there are always miracles. Willa Cather. Don't know. Got this at Half Price Books, I believe, in 2016, I think is when this journal starts. I'm not a big journaler, as you can tell, because this is literally from 2016, and I'm probably not even halfway through this journal, so it'll be years. But I also keep in all of my reading logs in here. So here's the start of 2022. Very exciting. Oh my god, that's kind of fun. I also did my ins and outs for this year. I'm not going to show them, but I have ins and outs. But I put like movie tickets and like who I saw them with, and the most exciting things I think are my reading logs. Oh, here it is. This is my one for like all the margins and stuff for 2021. Oh my goodness, can I move the page? Yes, yes, so that is also on my bookshelf. And yes, so that is everything, I guess I should say all my books on my bookshelf, along with some on my desk and my backpack, but we're gonna ignore that. Yeah, so thank you for coming along. Oh my god, please don't fall. Thank you for coming along and coming to see all of the books that I own, physical form, that I thought were important enough to me or that I read in school to bring up here, which I think is kind of interesting and says stuff about the books, like which ones you want to keep close by and which ones are like ones that you want to show off that you own and like read. I think I do that a lot of like books that I'm like, oh my god, I'm so cool, like I own and I've read certain books, and I think that comes across my bookshelf sometimes because I'm like, oh my god, look how cool I am, I own like this book. But I'm trying to be better about like not just having books because I want to have books, but like genuinely having books that I enjoy and enjoy reading and like want to have around me at all times so I can read them, like, you know what I mean? Like that's way more fun than just having books to look cool, because at the end of the day, if you're not enjoying it, why the heck do you have it kind of in my brain. And I know that's hard. I've been trying to be better about that of like, for a long time, I was not super forthcoming to people about like the books I read because I was embarrassed that I read mostly romance because I just like people had told me that it wasn't like worth the time or like told me straight up that it was just embarrassing and like things like that, which I just want to say is like utterly ridiculous. If anyone ever tells you that, please do not listen to them because I, not to be like, but like everyone who's told me that ever, I've read so many more books than them. And that's fine. That's something I enjoy doing and that's something I like. But I don't want someone to look down on me for something that I enjoy and something that brings me joy. Like, that's such a silly thing. And like, for a long time, I let it really affect me. And like, I started lying. For a while, people would like ask me like, oh, what kind of books do you, because I would say like, oh, I'm a like active reader or whatever. And they'd be like, oh, what books do you read? And I would lie. And I would say like, oh, I read a lot of mysteries or I read a lot of like I don't know, science fiction or fantasy, which I do read some of those, but that's not what I mostly read. I mostly read romance. And I just remember having this like sinking, awful feeling of just constantly being embarrassed and like someone's gonna find out. And like I remember this guy that was my friend literally came up to me one time and said like, you should stop talking about romance novels because like no guy is ever gonna want to date you if they think that you're like so desperate that you read romance novels. And like that was freshman year of college and I like took that to heart and I'm so sad that I did because it's utterly ridiculous and I've been trying to be a lot better about it, and I think I have been. I've talked to a lot more of my friends about the books I'm reading. I've kind of gone on a tangent, but just kind of like saying that like please read the books you want to read and please have a bookshelf that you're proud of. I'm proud of this bookshelf. I think some of these ones are a bit outdated for me, but some of them are classics that I know I'll have on my bookshelf for as long as I have a bookshelf. So thank you for coming on this little journey that's obviously a bit different because I'm not really recommending any books. I mean, I would recommend any of these books. You can read all of them someplace. And yeah, but thank you for watching. As always, you guys are amazing and every comment and like is so sweet and even just every watch. So thank you so much. Yeah, have a fantastic February. Mwah. Thank you.